Good morning, students. Today we start with a wonderful chapter of political science, that is power sharing. So, children, before we begin with this chapter, let me tell you what is power sharing. Power sharing means when you share the power, the work becomes more easy. As already in your previous class, I have explained you that in democracy, the government also shares its power. That is at the different level, and at the same time even the power has been shared between the organs of the government. You remember, between legislature, executive and judiciary. Why government divides its power? Because when the division has been done, when the power has been shared, then the work at every level becomes easy. Similarly, power is shared between the social groups also, political parties also. So today, in this chapter, we will be reading about the two stories. That is, the two stories of two countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka. And children, both these stories are about how democracies handle demands for power sharing. So to begin with the first country, that is Belgium, let's see how in Belgium the people literally have to fight for the equal powers. So children, Belgium is a small country in Europe, smaller in area than the state of Haryana. Imagine, Belgium is so small, it is smaller than our state Haryana. And do you know, it has a population of little bit more than 1 crore. That means about half of the population of Haryana. And if we talk about the ethnic composition of this country, ethnic means the social division of this country. So you will find that in this country, 59% people are those who speak Dutch. That is Dutch language. And around 40% are those people who speak French, and remaining 1% they speak German. But in the capital city of Belgium, that is in Brussels, it is just opposite. Because there we find that 80% people are French and 20% people are Dutch speaking, which is almost opposite of what the percent is in the Belgium country. Because in Belgium country we have Dutch people in majority and French people in minority. Whereas in capital city Brussels, French were in majority and Dutch were in minority. Now the children, the problem was that this minority French speaking community, which was, let's say, in capital city, they were more, and in country they were less. So this French speaking community, they were relatively rich and powerful. So this Dutch speaking community, they were not able to tolerate this. So they always had this resentment, because Dutch always got the benefit within this country after the French speaking people. Let it be in the field of economic development or education or something else. So this led to a tension between a Dutch speaking community and French speaking community. It was during 1950 and 1960 when both this community, they had resentment against each other, and the tension between these two communities was more acute in Brussels, the capital city of Belgium. And the reason was because it was in Brussels that Dutch speaking community, that is, they constitute majority in the country, but they were minority in the capital. So this was about Belgium. Now let's compare this country with another small country, that is Sri Lanka, which is an island nation, let's say just a few kilometers off with the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. it also has about 2 crore people, same about as in Haryana. So children, even Sri Lanka has a diverse population. That is, even in Sri Lanka you will find a social division. Over here, the major social groups are Sinhala speakers, who basically belongs from Sri Lanka, and they were around 74% who were Sinhala speakers, and around 18% were Tamil speakers. And in Tamil speaker also there were two groups. One were known as Tamil natives of the country, which were known as Sri Lankan Tamils, means the people who belong from the Sri Lanka. So they were known as Sri Lankan Tamils. They were around 13%. And rest, it was believed that whose forefathers came from India as plantation workers during colonial period. So they are called Indian Tamils. Now, what happened? That most of the Sinhala speaking people, who were in majority 74% in Sri Lanka, these are the people who were speaking Buddhist, while most of the Tamilians, that is Sri Lankan Tamilians, these were the people who were either Hindus or Muslims or Christians. So this was how the division of the people were there in the Sri Lanka, and you won't imagine that what could be a situation in both these countries. Like if we talk about the Belgium, the Dutch community could take advantage of its numeric majority, and they could force the French and the German speaking population to push the conflict between the two communities, and that could lead to a very messy partition between the country. Whereas if we talk about Sri Lanka, the Sinhala communities, they enjoyed a bigger majority and could impose its will on the entire country. So this is how in two countries we saw the situation, that how the different social groups who were in different majority in the country, in the two different countries, and how there was no equality between them. So we'll see that how the equality was attained.